All right, what's going on, guys? This is my update, which there isn't much new information to add when it comes to my move and my transition from the United States to Thailand. It's just what it is. Listen, a lot of things are more or less in the process. Passport, wait on that. Your tourist visa, which you have to apply for your tourist visa before you go to Thailand. This is if you intend to stay longer than 30 days. So you apply for your tourist visa. I think it's like $20. It's not much. If it's $100, it's listen, it's 100. I want to say it's $20. But with that said, that gives you up to 90 days, 60 to 90 days. And with that, you can just basically, if you're in Thailand, you can just cross the border, eat lunch, come right back, and it renews it. That's what a lot of people do. And you still get a lot of the same privileges of like purchasing condos and stuff like that. Now, that doesn't mean you can work. You know, that's just what it is. But you can do what a lot of people do. That's digital nomad. This stuff right here. A lot of people, this is exactly what they do. So you're basically, your business or whatever the heck you want to do, call it, is tied to a U.S. platform, this platform, if you will, and there's that. But what I want to talk about in this video is, I mentioned this in my last video, and I mentioned this on my other channel, is that one of the most important decisions when it comes to this move is money. Money, 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 money. And it's not just about what to do with my money personally and how to like go over there, have access to it, how to move it, where to put it, where to store it, where to invest it, all that good stuff. It's not just about that. This is about the bigger picture. This video is going to be about the bigger picture. Folks, this is my opinion. This is subjective. And listen, you can say this, I'm just another average dude. The people that I more or less get my information from have more or less like led me to this. None of them have specifically told me to do this, like to make this move, if you will. But just taking it all in collectively brings me to my own decision, my own conclusion, and looking at what's going on in the globe, like globally, especially in the financial markets, like not just our market, but what other nations are doing, emerging markets where money is actually moving. People, you don't realize how quick China is becoming the superpower. I don't think people here understand. I don't. Listen, if you don't believe me, go to Google Earth. Go download Google Earth on your computer right now and go explore and zoom in on those Chinese cities and look at how fucking much they're building. Look at how their cities are growing by 30% every year. They're building high-speed rail. They're building fucking interstates all across. They're building cities out of nothing from thin air. Cities of 50, 100, 200,000 people. What China's doing is nothing short of a miracle, in my opinion, when it comes to growth. I don't even think the numbers they report to us are true. And I'm not sitting here advocating being like China, if you will. I have nothing against China. Listen, they run their country. That's what it is. But I'd be a fool to like dismiss whatever model they're using, even though I know it's a Keynesian model. It's similar to ours. They're using a structured capitalism, if you want to call it that. State capitalism. Some people call it state capitalism. I'm not saying that that's a sustainable model long term. But listen, I'm talking about medium term. At least like not just short term, but medium term. In the medium term, there is so much potential in Southeast Asia for growth. The fastest growing country on the planet is Indonesia. And if you look at Indonesia right now, it is a third world nation. You have Jakarta. It's a big city. You have Bali, which has some resorts and stuff like that. But these are third world. This is a third world nation going just like Malaysia did. Malaysia 20 years ago wasn't shit. Now go look at a picture of Kuala Lumpur today. This is the transformation that's happening all across Asia, especially Vietnam and Cambodia. Most people have no freaking clue. All you hear is Vietnam War, communism. Let me tell you something. Vietnam has opened up their economy in a big way, and they are right next door to China. All that money, all that infrastructure that China's utilizing, all that outsourcing that they're starting to do now, they're doing what we're doing. They're starting to outsource their production to Vietnam and Cambodia. Cambodia and Vietnam are two of the fastest growing nations by proxy because of China. You also have Taiwan. Japan is more or less on the but it doesn't mean Japan isn't doing good things. I'm not saying put your money in Japan. That's not my point. But South Korea, if you watched how fast South Korea was growing, South Korea is a very modern society in a lot of ways. It's not totalitarian. It's parliamentary, if I'm not mistaken, but it's similar. But they're growing extremely fast. Building shit like people, if you've ever seen an airport over there, and then you look at our airports, you're like, God, what the hell is wrong with us? We're supposedly the greatest nation on earth, but we don't have high-speed rail, which to me is disgusting. People say, oh, it's useless. We don't need that shit. Yeah. Until you freaking use it. And you're like, yeah, this shit's awesome. It's better than flying. And you'll understand that it controls how growth happens. Growth will happen along that corridor, which means that it's more reliant on that, and it's easier to maneuver around that corridor, if you will. People understood this, at least over there they understand this. Build the infrastructure and everything else will come. This is what happened in the United States is that shit quit growing. They quit building infrastructure. And what they don't understand is building infrastructure is what attracts the growth to start with. Now, look, you could disagree with that. That's not the point. Let's not get lost in the sauce. With the potential of Indonesia, with the potential of Cambodia, Vietnam, which these countries are starting to explode in growth. Hanoi, Phnom Penh, Sihanoukville, I think it's pronounced, in Cambodia. They are literally building a Las Vegas resort city on the beach, on the coast, out of a fucking slum. It was a little tiny piece of shit, nothing slum. And they literally said, put it right here. And they just started slapping up high rises, left and right, casinos, left and right. And these things are bought and paid for before they're even built. People can say all they want, but this is what's happening. People don't understand the growth potential in India. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. When you want to think about the future, medium, and I would even argue long term, this is where capital is going to go. Capital is going to go where it has the most potential. And the most potential for capital is in Southeast Asia. There is no question about this. These economies are sustainable. They actually produce resources. They produce the services. There's a dire need for more services to entertain the economy, if you will. Now, I'm not saying these economies have got it all together and all figured out. I'm not advocating this is a model economy, be like this. No. But my point is where the fuck do you want to, where would you rather invest? Would you rather buy a home or a condo or something in a country you know it could double in 5 years? Or would you rather take your chances here with artificial markets, artificial interest rates, over oppressing government, coming after people, the cancel culture, the shame in you? When you succeed as a person, or as an American, or especially as a man, you are ridiculed, you're attacked, you're criticized, and you're made a fucking target. You're a target just because you've been successful in America. But the thing is you don't realize how much you can magnify your capital outside of the country. Meaning your capital is so valuable out there. Like you could say 10 to 1. You could do 10 times what you can do over there as you can here. Like cities like Singapore. What the fuck do you think Singapore come from? Singapore was a shithole shipping village 30 years ago. Nothing. It was a fishing village with floating slums in the bay. And they transformed it into a mecca of moving capital globally, a financial safe haven. And that's what happened. It was American dollars that built Singapore. But from there, it spilled into Malaysia. Same thing with Hong Kong. Hong Kong wasn't annexed to China. It was part of the British, the colonial empire system, as far as I know. And Hong Kong became the financial supercenter of China. It was like the go-to, the middleman between us and China. And Hong Kong exploded because of that potential. Now that China has more or less enveloped Hong Kong, you have Shenzhen right across the river, which has exploded. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, folks. This is where money's going. This is where money's going. It's going to Philippines. It's going to Taiwan. It's going to South Korea. It's going to, especially to fucking Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. And folks, listen, Cambodia and Vietnam, as I talked about, these countries are starting to really take off growth-wise. Go to Google Earth if you don't believe me. and go look at any of the major cities. Go look at Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City. Go look at Phnom Penh. I can't pronounce it in Cambodia. It's the major city of Cambodia. Go look at the growth. You'll see what I'm talking about. Entire cities outside of the city. Same thing in South Korea, like Seoul, South Korea. It's unreal. It's a miracle. And here we are like bragging about 1 or 2% growth. This is why your money, listen, take your English money, take your American dollars and take it over there and listen, it's an untapped resource in my opinion. Even though, yes, it's been tapped, there's still so much potential in my opinion. This is my theory on what's coming next in the medium term. Now, I can't say short term because if America's hurt, it will hurt everyone short term. But what happens is in the medium term, that capital is going to look for a place to go with potential. And these are the places I'm talking about. Like Koh Samui. Koh Samui, Thailand is a resort town. Beautiful as fuck. The housing prices have come down by 50% since like in the last couple of years. 50%. And here we are complaining about housing prices drop 5%. Bitch, you know what I see? I see fucking sale. Clearance, man. Clearance. Everything must fucking go. And you take your money and you go over there and you drop 100 bands on something. In one of these places, man, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. One of the main reasons I'm leaving is because I see the future potential of growth, and I see that the United States is it's on its decline. It is a superpower. It will be a superpower, but it's on its decline. The next place is up and coming emerging economies in Southeast Asia. No question whatsoever. With China is, man, they are consolidating power. Motherfuckers don't even realize. They just met with the Saudi princes like 2 weeks ago, trying to set up a whole nother monetary system to purchase oil outside of the dollar. People hate the petrodollar. But as soon as these other nations, like China or Russia, come together, BRICS nations, if you will, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and the S is South Africa, I think, which is kind of crazy. I might be wrong on that. These nations, or South Korea, one of those. When these nations come together and they form their own reserve currency, it's over for the U.S. It's over. And what are you going to do then? You have lost all of your purchasing power overnight because you were here at the wrong fucking place at the wrong fucking time. And this is my entire point. Yes, I said that I was going to leave my capital here. Most of my capital will stay here and be put to work because I will watch the dollar rise in the short term against the other currencies, but in the short term. But medium term, that money's going to be moving to wherever the hell I decide to set up shop in the medium term. And I would argue the long term as well. And I think it's going to be one of the smartest decisions I've ever made. And I think it's something, I'm not telling anyone what to do, but you need to do your research and look at potential. How much better can our lives get here in America? If you've ever been outside, like went to Mexico or third world country even, and like or Haiti or Dominican and seen how people live, that's potential. That's the way people with money see that. Yeah, it's potential. These people have a horrible like style of living, standard of living. It's not their fault. No disrespect, no criticism. But the standard of living has a long way to go up for these people. So this is what people do is people with money, venture capitalists, they start investing in businesses in these places. Businesses slowly start to pay more and more. Then you attract even more investment money from the outside. Now asset prices begin to rise, wages begin to rise, people's standard of living goes up. That's what I'm saying. This is in the early phases in Southeast Asia, especially Indonesia. Now, why am I not living in Indonesia? I think it's too third world for me. No disrespect. I would do it, but it's very volcanic as fuck. It's on the worst part of the Ring of Fire. Like Bali is one of the places I consider. It's a strict volcano island. Like it only exists because it's a volcano, and it just erupted recently. So there's volcanoes everywhere. It's not just that, but I'm just saying. I don't like an island is restrictive. Like a small island, 10, 20 miles by 20 miles is restrictive to me. So that's just my theory. Now, other people are doing very well over there. It's a beautiful place. It's volcanic, but that's the thing. But Indonesia, they are building an entire new capital out in the middle of nowhere. They literally went out into the middle of the jungle and said, "Put it here, $50 billion. Put it right here." This is the investments these countries are making back to themselves, just like Kuala Lumpur did in Malaysia years ago. And look at what's happened to them. Same thing with China. China opened up their economy, and it was just a rubber band that had been pulled back for decades, centuries even, just ready to be let go. And look at what happened. You have seen unprecedented growth in these nations, and still a lot more to come. Cambodia, Vietnam especially, I talked about them, Thailand even. You could do your business from Thailand because it's surrounded by all of these countries I'm talking about. Philippines has a ton of potential. It's just what it is, folks. Papua New Guinea, all these places. India is a huge. There's 3-4 times as many people there as there is here. India is one of the biggest potential nuclear bombs of financial explosion that could possibly go off, because China's already hit their explosive growth. India has not. India is still 40 years behind, but they're starting to invest in their infrastructure and build highways and high-speed rail and technology corridors and shit like this. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is not advice. It's just food for thought. It's time to consider where the best potential is for your money, where the best potential is for you to make money. And honestly, this to me is the greatest gift that we have. As an American man, I sit here on a gold mine in relation to their currencies. Meaning, even a little bit of money to me here is a valuable gift over there. That's what I'm trying to tell you, folks. If you can buy a house for under 100 bands in these nations, any of these nations, what a gift. Why would you not take advantage of this? I'm not saying go over there and buy stuff. I'm just saying potential. Look at the potential. Look at the potential of what's possible. How much growth needs to happen. And I'm telling you how much growth is coming. And this is where everything's going to be concentrated, in my opinion. This is the next place to be. Southeast Asia will be the hub of power, the axis of power in the world, even more so than here. It's just what it is, folks. People trying to say, oh, China's building islands. Who the fuck are we to tell them not to build islands? You know, that's over there. Yeah, they're building islands. They're saying this is our shit. Who the fuck are we to tell them not to build islands way over there? Yeah, they're building islands. I don't blame them. They're gearing up to run that side of the globe, which we absolutely need. This is what I'm saying, folks. Jakarta, Singapore, Manila, all these nations, all these cities over there, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, these cities are ripe for explosions. And they've already been growing extremely fast. And when things hit the fan here, this money is going to go there. I'm telling you, get ahead of the curve, because by the time you hear the news, it's too late. This is my thinking, my thought process, and that's all this is. Listen, I appreciate you listening to this. I appreciate it, folks. Listen, I love you. Throw me some love, throw me a like, throw me a subscribe if you don't mind. I plan to document my entire journey from here to moving and transitioning into Thailand, which it's just what it is. A couple months out from now, but here we are. Listen, I just wanted to give you a little bit of thought process behind why I'm doing this. I love y'all. Have a great afternoon, great evening, and I'm signing out.